2015 Mechanicsburg Borough Council meeting to order. Begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
President Whitcomb.
Here.
Vice President Mitchell.
Here.
Councilman McDermott.
Present.
Ballard.
Here.
Hellman.
Here.
Stoner.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Mayor Ritter.
Here.
Solicitor Point. Here. Engineer Rogowski.
Here.
Chief Spots.
Here.
Chief Secret. Secretary Dennis.
Here. Do we have any citizens' comments or requests? Yes, sir. You want to approach the podium and identify yourself and your address, please?
My name is Robert Sabatini. I live at 125A South Arch Street in Mechanicsburg. I am very proud of how quickly Mechanicsburg and also Silver Spring Township Police took care of the arsonist and the work by the fire company, especially in protecting the Frankenberger property next door for the fire on East Main Street. My recollection from the newspaper was that the borough and the county were able to reprogram some community development block grant funds to take down that structure. Is that correct?
We are in the process of working on that, yes.
Okay. One of the things when I saw that, and my curiosity was somewhat awoken, and I looked through your borough code, municipal code, and I don't notice that you have a fire escrow act. Most municipalities in the region have an act which allows municipalities to hold in escrow insurance funds, and the insurance companies are required by law to put them into escrow to ensure that taxes are paid off and that the properties are either demolished or repaired. I didn't notice that you had this. This goes back to 1994 when the act was initiated and was well publicized in the Borough magazine. I have a copy of this ordinance. I ask that council consider this. One of the big reasons is that how many abandoned properties do you have in the borough right now? Half a dozen, probably.
I don't know if you want to say we have that many abandoned.
Okay.
Of the property.
Okay, just properties that are in the foreclosure process and no longer have occupants. Probably have a dozen in the borough. One of the more challenging things right now that you'll find is that if you need to get a hold of the property owner or the owner of record, it's next to impossible for them to get something, to get in touch with them. If there's another fire at one of those properties, good luck on trying to get the money. Here is a copy of the ordinances. Actually, there's two ordinances, one for a borough and one for Springsbury Township, that I'd like to present.
That'd be fine. No, we'll turn that over to our solicitor and have her review that, if you don't mind. Thank you.
I think that it would be very appropriate for council to consider this as a way to protect the financial interests, first of all, of the borough, but also to preserve some of the community, how do you put it, quality of life issues that would happen if you do have a structure fire and you go a year or two or three with that property, especially if you don't have access to community development place. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Are there any other citizen comments or requests? And we have a presentation here for the recycle right reward presentation. I'm sorry, I skipped over that, I'm sorry.
Not a problem. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor, Council. You can see I wore my recycling hat tonight. I usually have my recycling hat on even when I don't have it on. And one of the things that I've enjoyed doing was participating in our Recycle Right Rewards program over the past year. We took your recommendations and we expanded the program to provide feedback to the residents that we survey. And we've also changed the program from a monthly program to a quarterly program so that we can cover more territory more easily, and we've increased the number of surveys that we perform. Based on the surveys that we performed in July, August, in June, July, and August, we have selected a winner based on the fact that the recyclables that were prepared in the bin that was surveyed were properly prepared, and the bin did not contain any items that should not be in the bin, any items that are outside of what's spelled out in our recycling regulations. Some of these items commonly are deli containers, yogurt containers, fast food packaging, and we're hopeful that with the new contract that's coming up for collection, we can include some of those items in the recycling, and it won't be so much of a problem for people. But this is an awareness campaign to get people to recycle more. I think we're still going to have a problem with plastic bags, and we have to, I think, revitalize our education program to let people know that stores like Weiss Markets and Giant locally will take back all your film bags, all your plastic bags. So I look forward to doing that. Unfortunately tonight, our winner is not present. So in lieu of handing this award out to the winner, we'll do that later. But I'd like to invite Andrew Campbell up from Weiss Markets, who's our sponsor of our prize. Would that be all right?
Certainly.
To say a few words.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Campbell. I'm the store manager at the Weiss Markets here in Simpson Ferry Road, Rose Street. He had requested me to get a little bit involved in the recycling efforts here in the area. So I agreed to donate the $50 gift card for this award. A little bit about our company. We have 164 stores here within 5-state area of New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, and New Jersey. And we do a lot with our recycling, with our company, from plastic bags, as he had spoke with, down to our food waste. Is all composted, picked up on a weekly basis. We have 18 bins that we recycle all of our waste in. This year, back in June, we had won the Sustainability Award for the best recycling efforts in the area. That was rated by the Produce Business Magazine. We have our first 100% LED store as well in Lewisburg that is recently remodeled, and we also have a brand new one that we opened in Sealings Grove. We closed the old one and opened a brand new one. So I just wanted to share a couple of those things. I'm glad to be here this evening to get to meet some of the people here in Mechanicsburg area, as I'm from Chambersburg. So, but it's nice to come here and meet some of you tonight. So thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to have your sponsorship. This is the second year that Weiss Markets has donated an award to this program.
Excellent. Thank you. One way or another, right? That's it. Jump in front of the camera. Thank you. Any additions to the agenda?
Yes, sir, there is one. Consideration and possible action to approve the special events request for Thon Canning on September 26th and 27th, 2015, subject to the conditions on the special event worksheet. And that has just been passed out to you for tonight.
Thank you.
You bet.
We have a motion for approval of the agenda. Motion's been made. Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Correspondence?
Yes, sir. I have a letter from Mr. Adams, Ralph Adams, who would like, dear Mechanicsburg Borough Council members, thank you very much for the approval of my handicapped parking space. My wife and I thank all of you for fulfilling our needs. Much appreciated and used every day. So Mr. Adams wanted that read to you directly, and there you go.
Very good. Thank you. That's it?
That's it, sir.
We'll need a motion for approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of council on September the 1st, 2015, please.
I'll make that motion with one change. My discussion that I had about the library, I really was referencing September 11th, 2001 rather than 2011.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not
I will
okay.
make that correction.
I just like to see that.
With that correction, you'll make that motion?
Yes, sir.
Motion's been made with a correction. Second?
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Manager report.
We met with the bidders for the garbage contract last week. It looks like we will be switching garbage haulers based upon the low bid of the contract. However, we're in the process of finalizing those numbers. The fair warning of this, though, is that even the low bidder is a little bit of an increase from last year, what we're going to have. So that's going to be a budget increase, but hopefully the service is a little bit better for the money that we're paying. The Lions Club sign was installed at the Pocket Park. I think the guys in the highway department did a nice job. I think it looks nice. I think it looks well. It looks quite good in the park, actually. We had our DEP audit for our MS4. The engineer and myself and Craig met most of the morning with the individual from DEP. It went very well. I heard horror stories from other communities about 2 or 3 days or a week, and they were here for 5 hours.
Correct.
So well, I think we're on the right track. We have a lot of our documentation in order, and I think everybody's on the right track. So
Good.
well done to everybody here on that, and Craig, Greg, everybody beneath them who's working hard on making sure that we're compliant with these sometimes asinine regulations that we have to do, but they're doing a nice job. And finally, we'll have the next council meeting, the first meeting in October, we'll be ready to go. We got the final revisions. We're working on a sewer rate increase ordinance and drafting a change in the way that we calculate EDUs. We don't have an EDU chart, and we're going to incorporate that into our sewer ordinance. You'll have that at the end of the week, and then we'll meet on that the first meeting in August. One of the things that, October. One of the things that is a big change in that I'll reference, so to make sure that everybody picks up on it, is one of the areas where we're different than a lot of communities is that when you add a unit, commercial unit, residential unit, whatever, you're not paying an additional EDU for that particular piece of that rental property, that additional unit. And what we've done through trying to make it as fair as possible is that we've created an EDU chart that allows for us to get a tapping fee for any rental property that's created, a new bathroom, a new unit, or whatever. So if you think about it, one of the things that our comprehensive plan looked at in 2007 was trying to work with the rental population that we have and make sure that we're getting quality rentals that come in and make sure that we're not having all of our homes turn into the low rent district, as it were. To do that, I think we put together a fair piece of legislation that it does increase the tapping fee a little bit, but we don't have a lot of development, so it shouldn't impact too many residents. But what it does is it outlines when we get a new commercial property. Right now, the way we do it is we just go off flow data that's basically an estimate from the plant, and now we'll be able to, through this ordinance, be able to charge new businesses, charge new rental properties, charge an actual fee that we can bring back into the borough as another means of creating a revenue source for us that we didn't have before. So our goal always is to make sure that taxes are low and make sure that user rates are low, both of the things I think we do a good job of, but that means you have to find new ways and new revenue streams. And that's what we're trying to do, is basically take a place that it's not been, to make a pun, tapped, and find a way to make sure that it makes sense and it's fair. And we really are not behind, but I think it's a novel approach to making sure that we are creating and keeping our tax and our user rates low. So that's the big point, the big change out of that. So if you see it, a cross-reference from the last two ordinance, the big change is this EDU chart. I think that's really going to provide, it's straightforward, it's transparent, and it lets everybody know that this is the way we're going to bill, how we're going to do it. It creates a permitting process to make sure there's inspections for new construction right before the S-Farm starts. It really makes sure that we're doing our jobs and we're accountable, as well as the people that are developing their properties. So, but that'll be our discussion for the first meeting in October, and we'll go from there. End of report.
Thank you. Mayor?
Thank you very much. August 23rd, officiated a wedding at the Union Church. 28th, attended a change of command ceremony at the Naval Support Activity. Farewell Captain Rathman, hail Captain Geiser, commanding officer NSA Mechanicsburg. 29th, gave you a citation and a key to the city from the mayor's office to Eagle Scout Gordon Wolbert at his court of honor. The 3rd, memorial service held at the Washington Fire Company for Fireman Doug Hench. September 5th and 6th. As a Navy guest, I spent 24 hours on board the aircraft carrier, the USS Harry S. Truman, the world's finest warship, 200 miles out at sea. Completed a tour of the ship, day and night flight operations, and observed professionalism of our Navy men and women. I flew from Norfolk out, landed on the ship, the tail hooker, so I'm now an honorary Truman tail hooker, and I got proof of it right here, and was jettisoned off the plane, off the carrier, and I flew back to Norfolk. An unbelievable experience. Words can't describe. the
Were you allowed to take
professionalism
anybody with
of
you,
them
Mayor?
In the service.
Mayor, were you allowed to take anybody with you?
I try to be his bodyguard.
You told me you were going to the shore that week.
Obviously not, I stayed home.
Attended the picnic celebration at the Senior Center with Chief Spots. The 10th visit Chamber of Commerce Mixer in Allenbury. 11th observed a Patriot Day commemoration at the Naval Support Activity. Officiated wedding at Strock's Farm. 13th lunch at the Collin House with Captain Rudy Geisler, CO of the Naval Support Activity Mechanicsburg. Car march guest was Lauren Stoner, PSBD. That stands for Professional School Bus Driver. And safety outside and inside the bus were discussed. There are children, we can't be careful. Lauren did a wonderful job at the car march. A great presentation. We need all that attention. Thank you. Annual dinner meeting of the Mechanicsburg Museum at the Church for the Brethren. And then trivia question. Name 2 hospitals within the borough of Mechanicsburg.
Could have been Animal Hospital, could that be one of them?
Well, silent one.
Silent.
Sidle.
Subterfuge. Pinnacle.
Where?
It used to be Pinnacle First Care or whatever that.
Well,
Well, it's Silent now. Subterfuge now.
Yeah, but
It used to be Silent.
are you talking about the same building?
Yeah.
I was thinking the Confederate Hospital on Walnut Street. Sorry, guys, that was,
We weren't alive then, like, people we know.
all right, and I got pictures of my
He was,
experience on the USS Harry S. Truman. Here for the look. End of report.
Now, I do have one question before we get away from here. How many seasick bills did you take?
I didn't get seasick.
You didn't get these
No, I
seasick?
did not.
Excellent.
Even being fired off the carrier.
Excellent, very good.
Was not.
Thank you.
But he was afraid.
I'll bet that was interesting. What is
After
that?
that, nobody.
Chief?
Thank you. I didn't get to spend 24 hours on the USS Harry Truman. But I do want to let council know on a serious note, I did receive a citizen letter of commendation for Sergeant Curtis from actually a child. Obviously, with our staffing issues, we've been really busy. And a grandmother showed up with her grandson unannounced and unexpected at the station asking for a tour. And Brian stopped what he was doing and spent a few minutes and gave this young man a tour, and he sent a really nice thank you note for it. So just want to let council know that. That's it.
How are we making out with that exposure down on Long Main?
We have a suspect. We have we have a good picture. We're trying to identify the suspect. He has been. We've talked to people who have seen him around town at other times,
Okay.
but we haven't come up with a name yet.
All right, very good. Thank you. Solicitor?
As the manager indicated, we've been working with the staff and HRG engineers with revisions and updating the sewer ordinance and have drafts of that. That'll be circulated as the manager indicated.
Thank you. Engineer?
Mr. President, we had a pre-construction meeting for the 2015 paving program on Wednesday. They anticipate starting early in October to be completed by on or about October 15th. Just to remind council, that's a number of streets. It's mainly a patching contract, and those streets are spread out all over the place throughout the borough. So that is on the schedule, and we're trying to work around school as well, since one of them is Elmwood, as well as behind St. Joe's. So trying to get that all scheduled together to get that done here in the next month or so. Legacy Park as well as still trying to push the level. We're continuing to work through issues with the developer, and we anticipate talking through that for at least another probably 2 times pushing meetings. So you guys will see it through it later. So
Thank you. Fire Chief?
Thank you, Mr. President. Attended the Mechanicsburg Fire Department Financial Committee meeting. We worked on the 2016 budget. Councilman Stoner was there. Also attended memorial services for Doug Ench. And that's all I have for right now.
Thank you. Agenda items?
Discussion and possible action to adopt Resolution 13, 2015 in memory of Doug Hench.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to adopt Resolution 14, 2015, setting the contribution rate for employee contributions to the police pension fund for 2016. That rate is 4.75% and it's set by their collective bargaining agreement.
We need a motion.
Make that motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to adopt Resolution 15, 2016, setting the resolution, that should be 15, it's 2015, setting the contribution rate for employee contributions to the non-uniform pension fund for 2016. This rate's 2.5%, and that's set by their union contract as well.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Consideration and possible action to approve an extension of the agreement with a North Central Highway Safety Network to continue participation in the Buckle Up PA program.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to approve the use of the room at 34 West Allen Street for the Mechanicsburg Museum Association resale from November 23rd through December 1st.
So moved.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Consideration and possible action to approve the special events request for Thon Canning on September 26th and 27th, 2015, subject to the conditions on the special event worksheet.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Approval of capital, general highway, sewer, and capital sewer fund expenditures from August 1st, 2015 through August 31st, 2015.
Anyone want to make the motion?
Make that motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any citizens' comments? Any other business? Whoops. I'm
Just
sorry.
one.
I didn't see you moving this
Oh,
way.
oh, I'm getting old, sorry.
Yeah, right.
What's tomorrow?
Wednesday.
I come here for disappointment every time, same time every year. Mark your calendar. Tomorrow's Constitution Day. Any organization, government, school, anything that receives what is misnamed federal funds, as in recycled taxpayer dollar, is required by federal law to either provide constitutions to their staff, make them available, or, and especially schools, not just colleges, but high schools, elementary schools, to have a program. If ever there's a time when people need to understand what the law is, what the law is not, and basically if you don't exercise your rights, they're already gone. Constitution Day is there as a yearly reminder, and I'd appreciate next year being pleasantly surprised. Thank you.
And that's always the,
Well, it's September 17th by law, so.
what?
September 17th.
17th by law, that's the date, September 17th.
It's kind of like the 15th comes 2 weeks after the 1st, which is, well, never mind, of April, so.
Okay, good enough, thank you. Any other business? Linda? Aye.
The PennDOT and Pennsy completed their work at the inlet at York Street. So
Ah,
that's fine.
thank God.
A fiasco and a half, but thankfully the residents were very patient with that, and we've had an ongoing dialogue with them. So hopefully they, while satisfied that may not be ever be possible, at least they can have it done finally. So
Thank you.
do that.
Steve?
No, sir.
Aaron? Gary?
Just a couple questions. The recent supposed completion of the park project. I'm going to direct this to both the manager and the engineer. What is the process of accepting that or not accepting that?
We have not done a final punch list. We will do a final punch list when that, when he declares he's quote unquote complete.
Yeah,
I know there are
still
still
have to
things to
plant
do.
trees and do a meadow.
Yeah.
So it's not done.
Okay. Is that what the white flags are for?
The white, we just had those questions. We were talking about that today. That's to indicate where the meadow area is supposed to go for.
Okay, well, if you want pictures of your bucket list, I have them. Because there are some really glaring errors in that project, in my opinion. And I think it's really unfortunate, and I'm not casting blame on anybody at this point here, but why there was not more oversight on that project from the standpoint of, is it being done the way it's supposed to be done? Are we following the rules that were set up when the grant was given, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? simple things like lines being painted incorrectly and then having to be blacked out, and now we have something that looks like patchwork on something that's brand new. Gates that don't latch because the hinges, the fence company didn't put the posts far enough apart, now the gates won't latch. Just silly things like that that to me should have been completed. Also, Mr. Snyder reminded us a few weeks ago, and I went over and have pictures of that as well, and I actually talked to the contractor, that they're going to put stone dust on the path that they messed up where the cross-country team runs. That is a quagmire back there. It's like a swamp. When it rains, you can't pass there. People cannot walk there. The other interesting thing is, and I'll just throw this out because at some point we have to do some signage there. People are walking their dogs inside of it, which is just, to me, I don't get that personally.
Inside the fence?
Inside the fence, on the AstroTurf, you can go from there.
And you know what they're doing.
And you know, I mean, come on.
Well,
So-
I think we have, and we've had a constant dialogue with Joe, and we've had several sit-down meetings with him, but I'm glad you're bringing that to our attention, so we can put that on our checklist, but,
Well,
I mean, I've made them go out, and we've had discussions about them laser leveling it to make sure that it was level, because it looked a little awkward, obtuse here and there, so we're on it, but if those things that you see, just please let us know so we can talk to Joe about it.
And we were assured that it was going to be completed by Labor Day, and we are 8 days past Labor Day, and it isn't done. I mean, this guy has gone on and on and on, and I guess my concern is, I get that part of it, that he's been fined, and the fines were paid, and after that, really didn't matter when he finished it apparently, but it just seems like there is nobody watching. There's nobody monitoring what's going on. And I don't know if that's your job or that's your job or whose job that is, but I don't think it's my job to go over and take pictures of it, you know, as a citizen, not as a councilman.
We don't provide full-time inspection, but at the same time, we've met with him on an ongoing basis. So, I mean, these issues like the lines, that frankly is news to me. So, I mean, we'll sort of.
It's pretty obvious. You don't have, I mean, Ray
Understood.
Charles could see it, I'm
And
telling you.
granted, I haven't been up there, you know,
Right.
so those are just completed.
Okay,
So-
that's the one thing. The second thing is, I hate to bring this up again, but I'm not getting any answers with regard to the gas meters.
But we got an email today, I'll forward it to you. The answer is, they can do what they want, but I'll forward you the email.
They can do what they want.
They can put them, they're working.
You're not gonna change the gas company to
Well,
make that.
The way that the PA code reads is that their effort is to get them out of the basements, and once they get them out of the basements, they can put them, if you're on the Historic National Registry, they will try to move them to the side of the building, but you have to be a part of the Historical National Registry. If you are
Okay.
not, they can put them on the front, they can put them on the side, we got that email this afternoon, so I'll forward it to you.
Can we, let me step back from that. Is it possible for us to say to said gas company, whenever possible, it must be put on the side of the building? If there's no other recourse, then the front of the building is acceptable. Can we do that by this code?
They're following a code that supersedes what we
And
can
we-
ask them.
If it's a state code, we can't overrule that.
Isn't the historic district on the National Historic Register?
The PA code does not recognize that any boroughs or townships historic district as a applicable legislation of which that they have to adhere to. They have to adhere to the Pennsylvania Borough Code. National Historic Registry, they have to move it. So Tom got back to me this afternoon about that, and the short answer of we follow the code. So
We
We
make
can-
sure we all get that.
what's that? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would really like to have that.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. I apologize to make the meeting longer, Mr. President.
That's
but
fine.
No, I think that
I think
that
some of those things that you brought up about that job up in the park needs to be addressed, and I think if you have a list of things, give it to the borough manager or the,
I'll send you the pictures.
Well, and that's fine, and I think that that's, you know, while we want to assess blame, you know, we met with them 6 or 7 times. We had a conversation about the white flags this morning. We hear it, but it's those types of things that we have to know because
I guess what I'm asking is, why do we not make an occasional on-site inspection?
We do.
We do.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm
We had
saying.
some-
We've had laser level things, we've had, yeah.
Okay. Because some of these things, obviously were there for some time.
The fence went up 2 weeks ago. I haven't seen the lines yet. I haven't been out there. It's probably 2 weeks now.
Well, the fence, part of it went up, and now they've increased a little bit more.
Sure.
But Gary, things like the gate operation, we would check that at the final punches. We don't go through it every bi-weekly meeting and check every detail like that, so.
I think you gotta give them the opportunity to go through the final punch list before we.
Opportunity given.
Well, Pat's going to be playing it down. He's not up there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we've been up there numerous times. That if these things have gone in the last week or so, it's possible that they could have gone in. But I mean, we made them already when they did the sloppy job in the pavilion. We made them retar it. So I mean, we're up there visible. I have guys in the park that are looking at it. But to your point, I don't have guys in the park every day now like we did in.
Well,
And they see it, they let me know.
The result of all this, once it is completed and accepted, is that there's going to be increased maintenance needed.
Absolutely.
To keep that looking nice, because obviously already there are leaves inside the fence, and leaves have always been a problem there. And somebody needs to go back with a leaf sucker
Sure.
and suck up leaves on occasion, rather than waiting till April.
Won't happen again. We got a guy dedicated to do that in the
All right.
pool and in the park this fall. So that's
And again, the signage thing, I mean, you guys are gonna have to sit down and say, the rules need to be posted, so.
Sure.
So again, we can enforce them. If they're not posted, we can't enforce them, but we gotta, I mean.
That's a basic rule of law.
And I hate to sound rude, but you can't fix stupid. If somebody's gonna walk in there with a dog, I mean, I don't get that. I just don't get it. I have a picture of that as well.
Do we have to create an ordinance to enforce no dogs inside here?
No, the way the park ordinance is written, we're, on an annual basis, we can update the rules and then they can be adopted. You don't need an ordinance change to change the
Just
rules.
update the rules.
Yeah, we just have to update the rules and then repost
Yeah.
whatever changes we're making. We can't ambush people and say, we've changed the rules and now, but we
Well,
don't need an ordinance change to
We'll
change
put that-
our.
And I will add this, I have been by on 3 occasions now, looking closely at it, and 2 of those 3 occasions, there were people playing pickleball already. Interesting.
They've been playing pickle.
Pickleball,
Very
you
good.
bet.
And no
Good.
signs?
Good. Anything else?
No, I'm finished.
John?
Heaven forbid.
This Friday at 7 o'clock, the Mechanicsburg Vietnam veterans are holding the POW MIA vigil down the square in front of the NC Bank.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Saturday is Mugs and Music, downtown Mechanicsburg. Get your mugs in advance.
Mugs and music.
Yeah, I got 2 things. This is one thing, October 3rd, El Borsa Fire Company's having their annual Crab Fest. What time is that, Ron?
12 to 5.
12 to 5 out at the club grounds. Tickets are available at the firehouse Monday and Wednesdays from 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing under that is within the last week or so, the bylaws of the consolidation of fire company has been delivered to the fire companies for review and comments. We're going to give a month and a half for review from each company, going back to the bylaw committee for changes or anything have to be done, and on to the consolidation attorneys to look over and add any legal stuff they have to add to it. Then basically back to fire companies to vote on it. The other thing on that one, so put a big thank you out to the bylaw committee for all the work they've done in the last year and a half on these. They started from scratch and did word for word, making sure this thing is right the first time, not just a cookie cutter bylaws. That's all I have.
Nothing, sir.
Okay.
2 quick things, Mr. President. In addition to Councilman Stoner, on Sunday, October the 4th, Station 27 is having a buffet breakfast at their station from 7:30 a.m. to 11. And October the 4th, on Sunday, starts Fire Prevention Week, which runs till Saturday, October the 10th. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Mark, just to let you know, October 3rd is my class reunion, so I won't be there. They're holding the class reunion between 1 and 5, I guess they're playing that. But anyway, meeting adjourned.